For this assignment, we're going to be working on the other side of the piece of paper that we started this week. So I still have my tape down. My wet on wet side is dry. And now I'm going to do wet on dry technique, which is exactly what it sounds like. We're going to use wet medium on a dry piece of paper. So I'm not going to add water to this side this time. So I'm going to use really wet medium on my dry piece of paper, and I'm going to kind of stick to the same color scheme. So I've still got my wet brush over here, and I'm going to make a blue color that's like really deep in pigment. And I'm using quite a bit of water to get it going. I'm going to add just like a touch of green. I want it to be like a neutral looking blue. So I'm adding quite a bit more water. I think that looks pretty good. And then I am going to just do really simple shapes here just to practice pulling them together. So I'm going to use a little bit of water, and I'm just going to start by painting a circle. So you can see that compared to my wet on wet, I've got like harder edges. It's a little bit easier to control, and I'm going to paint another circle that connects to that one to see how they kind of work together. I'm dropping a little more water in there just to control like two shapes together. Kind of like the way that looks. And then I'm going to do another circle in the same color. I'm going to try to use the color from this into my next circle. So I've got that, and then next to that I'm going to just drop some water on my piece of paper. Let's see how that connects, and then once I make that connection, you should be able to kind of pull some of that pigment over from that other circle. It's also a good way, so right now it's pretty wet, so I'm going to drop in like a second color and see if I can blend it into that circle. So I'm adding green to it. And then I'm going to just do one more technique where I draw a really light circle. So it's slightly damp. I'm going to see if I can do like a splatter technique using a darker blue, highly pigmented, as little water as possible. I'm just going to add in some spots, and then because that spot is wet, you can see that it kind of like starts spreading out, and that's kind of a fun technique to use too. It's kind of a cool way to blend. And then I'm just going to do like one more circle over here, a little bit bigger. It's got a little more water this time. And then before it dries, I want to see if I can add an opposite color on top. So I'm going to bring in an orange and see how that affects it. So highly pigmented, as little water as possible. Just going to drop that in. Let's see what it does. And then I'm going to paint the edge as well. So I'm really careful not to get rid of my hard line on the one side, but I am interested to see how it blends. So you can play around with a bunch of different techniques on this piece of paper, add different colors in, add different levels of water, and then let it dry completely before you snap a picture and submit this part of the assignment.